so for today, I'm reviewing a movie I saw a few days ago. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I saw it on Friday, I think, so it's been a few days, but I took notes because I want to remember, because this movie is a bit interesting. Okay, so the movie, you've had the title, Malignant. James Wan filmed and directed it, and it looked interesting. I saw some praise on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. Okay, so let me start first with what I did like. I like the directing, right? There's a lot of certain stylistic choices here that I actually really enjoy. Now, certain things I didn't like, and I'll get to those later, but just right now, things I did like. A lot of the intense scenes and the fight sequences are really good. I like those a lot. There's a fight scene in, I guess I'll be a spoiler. There's a fight scene in a contained area. It's really cool. It's a lot cool. It's really well done. I like it a lot. The characters in the house running from something, and it has this overhead shot of the house. It looks really cool, and I really liked it. But yeah, so a lot of certain stylistic choices I really enjoyed. They're few and far between. There's not a lot, but when they're there, they're really good. Also, it's a pretty good guilty pleasure movie. I don't know how to explain it, but you could watch this movie and just have a good time watching it. It's really entertaining. A lot of entertainment value. It's really just a really fun movie, right? And that sort of hurts it in a way because it's such a guilty pleasure. It's not a good movie. It's just kind of entertaining, at least to me. But yeah, it's a good guilty pleasure. Okay. And I hinted at just now, but the pacing is so aggressive. Literally, it's every 5-10 minutes there's something happening. It's insane. The first 30 minutes, a lot happens. It starts off kind of awkwardly, you don't know what's going on. But it's such it's so weird how the movie plays out, but good pacing. But again, it doesn't really make a good movie because the pacing is just so freaking aggressive. There's so much happening. And it's kind of rushed, but I'll get to that later. Okay. Another thing. It reminds me of classic horror movies. Sort of cheesy zoom-ins, weird killers, cheesy acting, it reminds me of this a classic horror movie. This could have been released in the 90s. Anyone think anything of it? It feels like a classic horror movie. It's always I really liked it. It feels like a movie you'd watch in the 90s. It's really good. Really good in that way. This movie will live or die for you, depending on if you like older horror movies. If you don't like older horror, you're not gonna like this movie, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of horror, so you might see where I'm getting at with things I didn't like. We're not there yet. Okay. I said great gore. The fight scene I'm talking about in the contained area, literally, it's just fun to watch. It's just a really fun movie, and I like it for that. The guilty pleasure side of it, the entertainment value, I love that. But again, okay, the concept I have to give some praise to. I don't know who wrote this or what the inspiration was for this movie, but it's a really interesting, unique idea. There's a twist. There's a few twists, but one main twist. And when it happened, I was like, whoa, what the fudge? But yeah, I don't know who came up with this, but I love movies that have these really interesting concepts because you never see them. There's no movie that you would watch. You couldn't watch this movie and be oh, this is just insert movie title. There's no movie that's like this. Now, what I didn't like about the movie, because there is some stuff I did not like about the movie. Now, I do gotta say, I did not like the main character at all. I don't know if it was her acting or how it was just written. I think it was just poorly written. The main character I didn't like. I'm sorry, the movie ends and you don't really care about any of the relationships. You only care about the conflict and what's going on. You don't actually care about oh my gosh, her sister or her mother, oh this is sad. You don't care about any of that. So that kind of hurts me. But again, it's a classic horror movie. And classic horror movies oftentimes don't give the characters anyways. Also have to say, the exposition is kind of weak. I guess I would say, like, it's just like the way it starts. I'm not a big fan of. I just don't like the beginning feels just really, really like weird. Like it's like a movie with like no budget. Like that's what it feels like in the beginning. Again, if it's classic horror, well then they did it. Like they perfected that. But if they were actually trying like like the first like 20 minutes, first like 30 minutes, yeah, a lot happens, but it just feels awkward. Like it feels weird. Like something's missing, or I don't know. I also gotta say, like the aggressive pacing. Like I said, aggressive pacing makes an entertaining, like Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is a prime example. Like the aggressive pacing helps the movie be entertaining, be fun, be enjoyable, but doesn't make for a good movie at all. Unfortunately, I wish it did, but it doesn't. Some of the best movies out there are like slower burns, right? It's movies that like, take some time to build. The characters saturate. It's a good movie because it gets built up. My favorite movie of all time, The Green Knight, right there. The Green Knight, very slow burn, but it dedicates time to building up characters, and this movie just doesn't do that, unfortunately. Okay, so what else did I not like? One more thing, really. There are like additional things I want to say. There's a really dumb trope in classic horror movies, and again, if I just got completely bamboozled and I got trolled and all this is just like classic horror tropes into one movie and it was on purpose, I'll delete this video. But like the cops can't shoot anything trope. Literally, this movie could have ended within like an hour, like 10 minutes or something, if one of the characters could just shoot like accurately. Like literally, like the characters can't shoot anything. It's insane. Like I've never seen a trope amplified to this degree. If it was on purpose, they got me. I don't think it was on purpose though. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about? I think maybe I'm reading into too much, but I think there was social commentary on abortion in this movie. It was something I picked up on because like the last like a character says like a line. It's like a few lines they say, and I think they're making commentary about abortion and how it should be handled. If it's not, maybe I'm reading into it, but I just think that's what was going on. I thought it was kind of obvious what it was doing. There's a good foreshadow. I can't say what the foreshadow is. There's a good foreshadow with a certain line that character says at the final act of the movie, but it was done really well. It's just verbal. She just says something. The design of something, I can't say it. There's a design of a certain character, and that design is done very well. It looks really weird. It's kind of like a character you would say, again, classic horror. It's like Jason or Michael or Freddy. It's a very like classic look. Looks really cool, and I just love the design. There's like one big plot hole. Basically, a character is being accused of something, and the cop that's questioning that character should know that that character is not like the person doing the bad stuff. Like the main character, not spoiler, her name's Maddie. She gets accused of something, but the detective has had a run in with this thing before. I'm kind of spoiling it. It's not a spoiler, but like a very vague spoiler. But like the cop, like the detective would know the Cocoa Shaw. That's the detective in Cocoa Shaw. That's a good trigger. Cocoa Shaw, Cocoa Shaw, Cocoa Shaw, Cocoa Shaw. Cocoa Shaw should know that like Maddie isn't this thing. Like what? So Cocoa Shaw, I just like saying his name. Like that should never happen. They should have never suspected that Maddie was doing anything wrong, because like the detective should have known it wasn't. So I thought it was a bit like a plot hole kind of. Something happens. So Maddie's sister, something happens to her, and she's hurt. It's in the end. It takes place at a hospital, and Maddie needs to lift something, but it's like it doesn't make sense how she was able to lift it. Like it's like a throwaway line, but it doesn't make sense. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, Maddie basically says like she makes a lot. I can't say it's a spoiler, but like it just doesn't make sense that she was able to lift what she needed to lift. It doesn't make sense, but okay. And there's a twist that they do at the end. If you've seen the movie, I'm not talking about the big twist. There's a twist at the end of the hospital. It has to do with Maddie clenching her fist, okay? like 30 seconds after that was, in my opinion, pretty predictable. Only because like you could tell that's not what, like, you know, something was off about, like, it clearly, like, I'm trying not to spoil, but it just wasn't like you could tell, you know. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I usually don't give ratings, but I want to give this a rating. Let me know if you like ratings or you don't. I'm giving this movie a 7 out of 10. As a movie, it's a 7 out of 10. Now, if like a horror movie, this is like a 9. If you love horror, I think you'll love this movie. Okay. I apologize if like this video seems like weird, like my energy is off. I'm recording this at like 12 p.m. like in the afternoon. I usually record earlier, so I have to get used to like recording at this time. I usually record like 3 or 4 p.m. like 2 to 4 p.m. But yeah, would I recommend seeing this movie? Yeah, if you like horror, if you love horror, especially classic horror, go watch this. It's on HBO Max. If you don't like classic horror in general, if you like gore, if you like gore or classic horror, go watch it. If you don't, you can skip it. Okay, yeah. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.